Last year, the Canadian government welcomed 900,000 international students. And since the beginning of this year, 2024, we have witnessed a lot of measures put in place by the Canadian government. We saw them increasing the proof of fund amount from 10,000 Canadian dollars to 20,000 Canadian dollars, according to them, to help the international students meet up with the inflationary measures currently going on around the world. Another thing they put in place was a systematic verification of acceptance letters from designated universities, and according to them, it was to protect students from fraud. And there has also been news about increase in visa deniers in this year 2024. Recently, precisely on the 18th of September, the immigration minister came out with increased measures to see how they can reduce the number of international students for the coming year. And that's what I want to quickly talk about in this video, because I know that I have a lot of followers who are considering coming to study in Canada. Hi guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Greta if you're new here, and I'm a Nigerian currently living in Canada as a permanent resident. Here I make videos about immigration to Canada based on the little knowledge I have, and also I get to talk about life settling in Canada so far. So welcome, I'm glad to have you here. I have my iPad here that I'm using to get the specific facts, and so if you see me looking down, just know that I'm trying to read the correct details or the exact details as outlined by the immigration minister. So guys, the first measure the immigration minister touched on would be the reduction of study permits to be issued out in 2025 and 2026. So according to him, there's going to be a 10% reduction of the study permits to be issued out. So according to him, the aim is to issue up to 437 study permits in both 2025 and 2026, and this will represent about a 36% decrease from 2023. The second measure he talked about will be starting in 2025. Masters and doctoral students, among others, will be counted as part of the cap, as we have now included temporary residents in our levels planning. Going forward, we would have an annual target for international students. Simply put, the international student cap is here to stay. Earlier this year, they put a cap on the number of students colleges are expected to bring in. With these recent measures, master students and PhD students will be part of the cap put on the number of study visas to be issued out. Among the 437 international students that are expected to come in 2025 and 2026, would see that number would cover college students, master students, and PhD students. And you know, they are currently giving priority to master students and PhD students. So guys, in addition to this last point I just touched on, the immigration minister also had this to say. I'm going to read his exact words. In particular, graduate degree students are well aligned with Canada's labor market needs. That's why we'll be reserving about 12% of the cap for these students and aligning the postgraduate work permits program with our economic priorities. In other words, 12% of the study permits to be issued out for 2025 and 2026 will be targeted at graduate students that fit into the economic priorities. So if someone is coming to study any program here, you should be very strategic about the program you are coming to study. And then there's also a measure that is focused at getting postgraduate work permit. So here's what the minister had to say. As of November 1st, we will institute a new language proficiency requirement for post-graduation work permit applicants that is aligned with requirements for permanent resident streams. So if you're currently here in Canada from November 1st, because all of these applies to students who will be getting admission after November 1st. So after you study, if you want to apply for work permit, you'll be required to take a language test, either the French or the English language. So imagine after studying in Canada in English, for you to apply for work permit, you would be required to take the language test. A Canadian language benchmark CLB level 7 for university graduates and CLB 5 for college graduates will be required for anyone applying for a post-graduation work permit on or after November 1st, 2024. Also, for prospective students applying on or after November 1st, post-graduation work permit eligibility would depend on the level of study. Graduates from bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree programs will remain eligible for a work permit up to 3 years. These graduates are more likely to acquire transferable knowledge and skills and be able to adapt to changing economic circumstances over the long term. As for college graduates, they would only be eligible for a work permit of up to 3 years if only their field of study is linked to labor market shortages in Canada. It all boils down to ensuring that the course you're coming to study here aligns with the labor market shortage in Canada. And over the next 3 years, the country expects all these changes to yield approximately 175,000 fewer post-graduation work permits. And all of these measures didn't just end at the international students. It also trickled over to spouses of international students. So it says the immigration minister said that the country would further be limiting work permit eligibility for spouses of students in doctoral and certain master's programs, select professional programs, and certain pilot programs. And spouses of workers in critical sectors like healthcare and construction will continue to be eligible for work permits. So if your spouse has experience, if your spouse occupation is in a field such as healthcare, construction, they will be eligible for work permits. So a spousal work permit will be given to selected few, particularly in selected occupations. All of these new measures, these new changes can really be sad, especially for students that are already in Canada, but for students that are looking at still coming to study in Canada, the ones who want to come pursue like a bachelor's program, a master's program, it's very important that you really plan very well, weigh all your options, weigh the odds, and strategize. And most importantly, I would say this is the period that fake agents will be coming out to say, oh, we can help you despite all the measures that have been put in place, we can help you get it. Be careful, beware, be wary of all of these fake agents. If you feel you need professional advice, seek the help of regulated Canadian agents, Canadian immigration agents. They cannot do you wrong. Even if they do you wrong, you can easily report them. Be wary of fake agents that would come out to promise you heaven on earth at a time like this. It's not just international students that are experiencing changes. There's also been changes made to temporary resident visas, that's visitors visas. As at last year, especially after COVID, it was possible for people with visitors visa to come into the country and look for jobs and then convert their visitors visa to work permit. Currently, that has been stopped. So if you have a visitor's visa and you want to convert that to a work permit, you would have to go outside the country to be able to do that. Visitors can no longer apply for a change in status, like from visitor's visa to work permit when they're within Canada. They must go outside Canada to be able to do that. And then also the number of foreign workers that employers within Canada can employ has also been limited. So the government is just trying as much as possible to put a check on all their immigration programs, because it felt like in a space of 2 years, there was an influx of people and they are finding it hard to manage. Another aspect that is currently also having an issue is asylum seekers. Like, it has been all over the news, provinces rejecting asylum seekers from the federal government. Like, this province will say, oh, if they are not coming to our province, this other province will say they are not coming to our province. And now the federal government also has to deal with that. So asylum is also a big problem that the government has faced. I would always tell anyone, It is not a way of life here in Canada. It's a no. You would suffer. You would suffer. So that is also a big issue. Asylum seekers have also put a strain on in immigration plans, immigration programs on the government, and it's something that the government is currently trying to deal with. For anyone who is still looking at coming to study, make adequate research. Make sure you are armed with enough information. And if you feel you need help, do not go to any unregistered agent. Seek out the help of regulated consultant. I have a video that talks about being wary of fake agents. Thank you so much guys for staying with me to the end of this video. I hope you are able to get as much information from this video as possible, and if you have anyone that is currently looking at coming to study in Canada, you can send this video to them. It will really be of great help. Thank you, and until my next video, bye bye.